Hello and welcome to episode 182 of DCP SideQuest. This week we've got a remote reporter from I don't know where you are.
Coming
I
live
don't
from
know
the
if I should
Midwest
say
here
where you
outside the Chicago area in Illinois. Friend, I'm back in my hometown.
Nice. You're visiting
Very
family?
nice.
Yeah, family, good friends, and yeah, I haven't been back in like 5 years, so figured it was time.
Are they like
Quick
high
visit.
school friends?
Yeah, that's who I'm staying with here. It's just
Nice.
basement,
Nice.
and I'll be visiting my mom and sister and some other friends. So yeah, it's nice to be back for a little bit. What's up, Midwest?
Something weird about high school friends is like you can not see each other for like 10 years and then you get back together and it's like no time passed. Like I love that about high school friends. It's the only kind of friend that's like that.
Yep. They already know who you are. There's no disguising it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Heck of a weekend. I gotta be honest with you guys. I went full troll gamer mode. I watched all of EVO, like all of it. I had multiple screens up.
I watched a lot of it.
I was playing Street Fighter while I was watching because just I mean, really didn't leave the house for like 3 days. Like really. I had to like force myself to mow the lawn on Sunday before like EVO started because I knew I wouldn't do it after it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was good. It was really good.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any was there anything that was like biggest newsworthy item from there?
There was a ton of stuff. They announced, or I think they had already announced a Mark of the Wolves sequel, but they kind of showed like a little teaser trailer for it called Fatal Fury City of Wolves. Which
is Mark of the Wolves Fatal Fury?
It was called Garo Mark of the Wolves, but it was like a Fatal Fury. It was a Neo Geo game from back in the day.
Like it's a Fatal Fury spinoff or something.
Yeah, and it's well regarded. It's like a lot of people think it's the most beautiful 2D art fighting game of all time. I don't know if I'm with that, but I mean it's really good looking. So that's exciting. I don't know how they're going to differentiate it from their current King of the Fighter series, but we'll see. They also last year at EVO there was like there was a poster that was going around that was kind of teasing like a SNK versus Capcom or SNK versus Street Fighter like 3.
Yeah.
That which is another very old game, the SNK versus Street Fighter games. But this year, what was his name? I had to write it down because I don't remember anybody's name.
I'm Fran.
Ono. What is his last name? Or what's his first name?
From Capcom? Ono?
Yeah. Harada was on stage talking about Tekken 8. And then
I saw that.
Ono came up on stage and he was kind of like, hey, you have some unfinished homework, friend, because he was supposed to, way back in the day, there was a Tekken versus Street Fighter that Capcom made. But Namco was supposed to also make a Capcom versus Street Fighter, or a Street Fighter versus Tekken, like of their own, but they never got around to making it for whatever reason. So that was kind of fun. I don't think they're gonna actually make it, but it was kind of fun that he came out on stage. He doesn't work for Capcom anymore.
Yeah, Yoshinori Ono.
Yes, thank you.
And he did leave.
And so they kind of like ushered him off the stage, like, get out of here. You know, it was kind of funny.
It was really funny.
They announced that Killer Instinct 2013 is going to get a series, an Xbox Series update, an Xbox 4 update, with a balance update, which is crazy because that game hasn't gotten a balance update in 5 years since 2018.
Wow. Their 10th anniversary, updating the game, try and get some players back in there.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's a tip. If you want to play it, get it on the Windows Store version, not the Steam version.
Yes.
Because that connects with the Xbox players. If you're on Steam, you're kind of...
Yeah, you're out in the wild, all alone.
I
hope you enjoy single-player content.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to actually matchmake.
Yeah, that game actually has a ton of really good single player content that has like individual stories for a lot of the characters. It has like this I don't know, it's like a campaign mode. It's pretty cool, but it's getting improved matchmaking and it's getting 4K support, which I could have sworn it already had 4K support for the Xbox 3 Super Edition, which was what was it called? Xbox Elite? Xbox?
The One X.
Yes, the Xbox One X.
I was like, oh yeah.
I could have sworn it already had 4K support. Maybe I'm crazy. So that was
No,
exciting.
that was Project Scorpio, wasn't it?
And Iron Galaxy is developing that, which
cool.
And they were the ones. That was a weird development because I should have turned the light on. The camera can't deal. That was interesting because it wasn't Iron Galaxy who made that game. It wasn't the Coalition, but it was people who left the Coalition and formed a new studio, and then they got bought by Amazon, so they couldn't continue developing Killer Instinct for Microsoft. I can't remember the name of the studio.
Now you made me. Yeah, it's got like Knife or Edge or some name like that in the name. Twin.
Iron Galaxy came in and developed season 1 and season 2, and now they're back to do this update, and hopefully this may mean, like, if this is popular, it could mean another Killer Instinct, which would be awesome. Iron Galaxy also did the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions of Destiny.
Yes, well, Iron Galaxy also helped with the Metroid Prime remaster as like
Oh, I didn't know that.
First, yeah, they split that up all over, but Iron Galaxy was a big one.
Yeah, they're all over the place. Then I think the coolest thing of the night was they had Cap Jams. Is that the name of the band? At the Street Fighter 6 tournament to do like music, and then like while they're doing music, they like bust into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song from the cartoon, which was really random. And my wife wouldn't shut up while they were doing it. I'm like, hey, shh, they're doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles song. So she got mad at me because I went, shh. And then it was kind of random, but it was awesome. And then they announced that you can get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle costumes and outfits and like accessories in Street Fighter 6, starting, I think, actually
tomorrow.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah,
which was really cool.
Hell yeah.
And then they also showed a new trailer for a new character that's coming in. Yeah, I think November. Aki, who looked pretty mean, honestly. Not very nice.
So cool. It's basically a trailer of her like poisoning a guy and then explaining what the poison does to your nervous system before you die.
Yeah, while it's happening.
That's pretty much the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the trailer.
But she looked very cool. Like she looked like
she does look very cool.
But they didn't show any fighting. Like they didn't show any of her moves or anything. So I'm sure they'll show that like coming up.
Yeah, I'm very curious as to what kind of fighter she's gonna be because we have no idea. We just know that she does poison stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there has been some speculation that she's related to Fong, who was like the poison guy in Street Fighter V. He was very slinky and kind of like flowy.
Oh, they did show her doing kind of like a slinky thing on the floor.
Yeah. So maybe that has like something to deal with that.
She did a slinky thing, and she's like bending over in weird positions and basically being like a creepy horror movie character is a lot of what the moves that they showed.
Yeah.
She's like flipping on the floor, going upside down, doing a crab walk.
Like almost like
scary.
It made me think of like a Japanese like ghost movie, like The Ring or something.
That's what I was just thinking of.
Definitely
uncomfortable.
All the joints bend backwards.
I did really appreciate the announcer at the tournament made the joke like right after. You can't fix her, guys. Just let it go. Don't try. I don't know, man. Like it was honestly, the whole tournament was really run excellently. They had 7,000 people just for Street Fighter alone, plus all the other games they had. They had Tekken, they had Guilty Gear. That was an amazing tournament as well. Like everything just like seemed like really well produced, really well run. The Street Fighter players were a little. They were a little upset that they had to go through so many matches. Like it was like
7,000.
Yeah, 7,000 people. So like the people who finally made it to like the last day had already fought like 12 matches, which is a lot. Like that's a lot. But
it is a lot.
What we ended up with was a top 6 on Sunday on the Street Fighter side. That was like really cool because there was like 3 of the best like younger players with Angry Bird, Mena RD, and Punk, who are all like, I don't know, some of the best out there. And then they also had like 3 like the old heads, like guys who used to play like Street Fighter 2, you know, like Kakeru, Haitani, and Tokido. And Kakeru was really interesting because he was playing with modern controls.
He was,
Oh, wow.
yeah. There were a few. I was watching a Chun-Li on modern controls.
Yeah.
And it seems to be that I was watching Maximilian watch EVO for some of it, and they were saying that there might actually from this be a new tier list that comes out that puts characters on modern and classic and puts them in different tiers because there's some characters that are really good on modern.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Which is interesting because there's always been like this kind of, I would say, a stigma against these kind of control schemes.
Yes.
Especially with like older players. So to see one of the older players make it to the top 6 and be successful, and showing off why it was so valuable to have like 1 button specials and 1 button supers, was I think really interesting. And like it definitely, I don't know if I'm gonna switch over to modern controls, but it definitely showed off like the usefulness of it, I think, in a big way. And I think took some of the stigma away right away.
I really liked that we saw that and we saw it prominently because so many people were saying, I remember watching there was a Twitch tournament that they were doing where they have a bunch of streamers play a bunch of different games. And during the Street Fighter section, so many people in chat are like, just play classic. If you want to take the game seriously, you got to go classic.
Yeah.
So to see modern be in top 6 and see incredible players doing incredible things with modern, kind of shows that like you don't need to go to classic. If you want to jump in Street Fighter and do cool stuff right away, use modern and you can take modern very far.
Yeah.
You can get to the top ranks with
it was
modern
very
if you
interesting.
want.
And then Angry Bird, a player from the United Arab Emirates, won the thing, but it was just a nonstop slugfest. Like it felt like it was down to the last round, like last game, last round, like every match. And like this one guy, Tokido, he had 2 matches in a row where he was just pulling the wind last second right out of his ass. Like it was just outstanding. The crowd went crazy. All the players too seem to be really friendly with each other. I think probably because we live in this online world now where, they're constantly like chatting and talking to each other as they're playing online. Right. So they're all like hugging and it seemed to be a really friendly atmosphere, which is so different from what the FGC used to be. It can still be. But it was really fun to see. It was a real fun tournament to watch. And it was really well produced.
It was incredibly fun. I enjoyed it very, very much.
Nice.
And yeah, everyone who went was like, the atmosphere was incredible.
Yeah.
And did you see that CJ, Mr. Video Guy, he had a kind of bet with his son where if his son beat him X amount of times in a row, they would fly to EVO, sign him up to compete at EVO. And that's what they did.
Nice.
I thought that was incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was really good. I was like, that is such a core memory for him. That's so
that's
cool.
some solid parenting right there.
Through some early rounds, I guess.
He did, yeah.
Yeah. I guess I didn't understand it as someone who's not playing Street Fighter, but there was some like controller setting, normalizing something or other that he just didn't quite know about that apparently he felt knocked him out.
Yeah, it was like turned on and there's no way to tell if it's turned on. It's like negative
edge.
Negative edge.
Yeah. And he was like, didn't know, and he got knocked out. But apparently he made it a few rounds, so that was awesome. And he's like inspired by all of what you're talking about. So who knows? Maybe he'll be up there.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite clips from EVO was Justin Wong.
Yeah.
He was fighting someone and I was watching Maximilian's perspective of this, and the other guy took one round and started clapping. And Max was like, you don't clap in front of Justin. It really pisses him off. Do not clap in front of Justin. And then the next round, he perfect KOs him. The next round, he beats him. It's like, you do not. Yes. Yeah. It's like, you don't clap in front of Justin. Really
you don't want to pop off early anyway. Like, it's not a good look. Because if you lose, you really look like a fool. But when you pop off in front of like somebody who is clearly better than you and takes it personally, like that's not gonna go your way.
You do one round and you're like,
of the game.
You inspired them.
that was funny.
Yeah, the one thing that I thought was a little unfortunate with the Street Fighter tournament, because there were so many players, is like a lot of the storylines I think got lost. What happened to Idom? The guy who made that
Right.
incredible run last year, like through the losers bracket. What happened to Justin Wong? What happened to Brian F? All these guys that like you just never saw on the main on the main stage because there's so many people, right? So you had to just kind of like wade through this like crazy 7,000 person bracket to like see what the results were and who took them out. There was a match between Daigo and Mena RD that wasn't even on the main stage, but luckily somebody filmed it like with their camera.
Oh yeah.
So that was cool. I don't know. It was a really fun time. I would definitely recommend going back and at least watching the top 6 of the games you might be interested in.
That's
And
cool.
Street Fighter
Even if
1
you
was
don't play
insane.
fighting games, like Street Fighter 6 is really fun to watch
Yeah.
and very easy to understand that epic things are happening.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, it's very
see it.
readable, right?
yeah.
That's cool. And that's all owned by PlayStation now, right?
Yeah.
Looks like they're going big on it.
Yeah. And this year, this is like one of the first events of the Capcom Cup, which will eventually lead to that $1 million first prize. So
that's right.
A lot of people are, looking
trying to
forward
get the
that.
bag.
Yeah, get that paper. So, Watts, you sent us some trailers for
I did. It is
Ragu
Daba.
Water City.
It was Daba Land of Water Scar.
Right.
And I had no idea that this happened. So this was part of China Joy, which is like Sony. It was a Sony presentation specifically for Chinese studios that Sony is investing in. So I had no idea that this happened, but it was a Sony presentation. And this was one of the games that really stood out to me. And someone recommended it to me. D-Bolt in chat recommended that I check it out. And I was like, okay, what kind of game is this? And then as I slowly realized, this is a Souls-like game. I was like, okay, we've got all the things that normally come with it. And I was pretty impressed with what they have going on. The stage presentation where they are explaining all the mechanics is in Chinese, so you probably have to wait for someone to fully translate it. But even just watching it, it seems you have different masks and you can change the masks, and that gives you like a special ability. The red mask that they were wearing in the game gave you a kick that did a lot of like posture damage to enemies. And then I think there was a white mask that made your dodge different. So it seems that you have this mask that you can change that gives you access to special abilities. You also have 3 weapons that seem to all have their own individual abilities. So I thought that was really cool. Seems like the combat could actually be pretty deep and interesting. There's parrying, all the things you'd expect, dodging. And this one definitely seems like it wants you to be aggressive, and they want to incentivize you to be aggressive. Because when you use like your special mask ability or you use one of the weapon abilities, it uses your bar, whatever you want to call it, your mana bar. And in order to get that back, you have to attack. So it seems like they really want you to be in there, parrying, attacking, getting the posture bar down, using your abilities, getting your resource back and using it again. And I really like that. Anytime a game incentivizes you to be aggressive, I really appreciate that. So I thought it looked pretty cool.
It does look pretty cool. It's got a lot of cat people.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. Remind me of like a Wing Commander a little bit. Not in the content so much, just in the fact that there's cat people.
There's also 2 playable characters, apparently. We didn't see the other character in the presentation, but she was in the trailer and she used a bow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it have like a clear release date, platform, engine mention, like what it runs on, or
No. This was like the first announcement of it,
yeah,
which was really interesting because they had 22 minutes of straight up gameplay with the UI in it and everything.
yeah.
But it's in development for PS5, so it will probably be a PS5 exclusive because this is Sony's China studios.
Yeah, timed exclusive or
Something like that.
wait, is it actually Sony China Studios? You're saying?
No, it's part
It's
of
like studios they've invested in. You said, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
part of 3 titles that were announced as part of the incubation program called PlayStation China Hero Project. So that's a thing that they have going on with that.
Yep. Okay. Yeah,
So
probably
we don't know anything
probably
about
a
it.
timed exclusive. And actually in situations like this, you don't necessarily even know if it'll come to the West, but it probably would, given the popularity of them, unless they said that.
Yeah, I would assume that it would,
You
because
never know.
like I guess you never know. Yeah. But
Um,
they said that it tells the story of a humanoid clay puppet. When the world is on the verge of collapse, the puppet traces the whereabouts of the water fragments within the ancient city, and throughout their journey of defeating enemies and seeking answers, unravels the story of the world and oneself. So that's really all we have. It's very like top level. Here's they're clay people looking for water, and it's the Souls like. There you go.
hopefully the story's not too dry. I watched a little bit. I watched a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. I was like, okay. I had the same reaction. I didn't know what it was. I was pretty
Yep.
busy getting set up out here in the Midwest, and like sat down. Like, okay, check these out. I'm like, it's some. I thought it could have been an anime. I didn't know. Because we just got 2 trailer thumbnails. Clicked on it. I was like, oh,
Yep.
it's like maybe I was thinking, oh, it's like Neo-esque. It's like Ninja Gaiden, and then I was like, oh, this is very Souls-like, and oh, some Elden Ring inspiration, I think. So yeah, totally has that vibe. My my walk away from this was more that, man, I was just like, From Software's impact and influence
Mhm.
is immeasurable at this point.
Yep.
So now we're at a stage where you've got so many people that have had the 5 years, the whatever amount of even 3 on a decent engine to be able to try to pull together their version of what they've been up to for a long time. And so I'm like, that's cool to have more options. Nobody's really, I mean, other than games maybe like Neo,
Mhm. Yeah.
who else has really knocked it out of the park? I mean, I think Surge was reasonably well received, Mortal Shell, but still, like to be
I
on
think
their
Lies
level.
of P might be the next one to do it because the
We'll see.
polish is really good. Obviously, we do
Mhm.
not have the full game, but the demo was incredibly polished.
Yeah,
So
it felt good. But that's
yeah.
exactly, it's still a perfect segue where I was going with it is it's
Yep.
still the nuance of it's not just the style, it's like the way that everything hits and all the balance and all the small touches, the enemy behavior, etc. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see this. It's one of those you want to get your hands on and find out. But yeah, Liza P, I felt the same way about it. Got my hands on. I was like, ooh, feels pretty good actually. So,
Hmm.
I guess we'll see. But I don't think anybody has come close to even like Demon Souls, Dark Souls. Um,
Part of
unless
what
you
makes
guys
those
think
games so
otherwise.
special to me is the world building, like the
Yes.
Yeah,
place you're exploring and the kind of like the subtext of lore, like that it doesn't come out and explain it to you. You kind of got to like dig for it a little bit, but it's just so interesting. Like around every corner, you're like interested to see what it's going to be, and you're constantly rewarded. That I feel like is really hard to get right,
yeah,
It is.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's an
especially in Elden
exploration
Ring.
game
It's
too.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah. It's weird that for me, Elden Ring, as much as I love the combat and everything that comes with it. It was the exploration, actually. Once I got past the first area in the castle, I was like, oh my God. There's just every corner you turn. I was like, holy cow, this is so bizarre.
Yeah.
And it's
Yep.
huge. It's beautiful. It's massive. But then all of these different creatures and enemies. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where this one goes. But yeah, I mean, it's good investment. For the longest time, I'm like, why aren't there more Souls likes, man? Like, this is just like, and then Mortal Shell was kind of coming out. I was like, okay, they're smart.
What happened with Mortal Shell?
Surge
Was
as
that
well.
good? It looked interesting, but I never really heard about it after it got
It's a
released.
very small team, like handful of people.
It
Yeah,
is
it
I
was
think it was
released,
more.
right?
small.
It's out.
Yeah, people
Oh
liked
yeah, it's
it.
been
Okay.
out for a minute. I personally didn't like it. I
No.
thought the combat ended up being a lot more limited than I initially thought it would be because I really like the idea of, you essentially inhabit a body and then you can pick other bodies to inhabit. I really like that idea. And then I just didn't really like the map design and the enemy design and I ended up just kind of putting it
Okay.
down, but I thought
Mhm.
that they had a lot of really good ideas behind Mortal Shell.
Yeah, yeah. I thought for a small team, it was really. I didn't play a ton of it, but I was like, oh, that was impressive. But yeah, see where it goes. And then around the corner, we got Lords of the Fallen. Um,
Yes, they had
so
some more
again,
information actually
oh,
about
did they?
classes. So I don't think people even realized there was like classes that you could pick, but they're doing a whole thing with IGN where they're
Oh
going
yeah, IGN
over a
first.
bunch of stuff. Yeah, they've got IGN first for Lords of the Fallen. So they went through some of the classes and they look really cool visually. You've got the Black Feather Ranger. This is like a axe bow, poison arrow kind of character. Condemned, which is a broken bucket fist weapon,
Yes,
right?
of course it is.
Throwing rocks and light armor. You've got
That's the poverty class. You've got rocks.
yeah, it does seem to
Stale
be
bread.
the case. Yeah. Uh,
Stale baguette.
you got the Dark Crusader, which is, of course, like great sword, heavy armor, all that kind of stuff. You've got the Exiled Stalker, which is your assassin kind of character with 2 daggers, throwing daggers. A Hollowed Knight, which is a sword and shield start with heavy armor. He's actually kind of like a paladin as well because he does come with a healing over time consumable.
Oh,
So it
there's
seems
my
to be
class right there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like vitality. You just want a lot of endurance and HP for this guy. Heals. He's got heavy armor. And then you've got a Mornstead infantry, which has a spear and a shield, so a light shield, and you throw javelins. You've got an Orion preacher who has a hammer and a shield, and he's like a monk. He's got a bunch of healing spells and stuff like that.
I do like hammers.
Yeah, it sounds reasonably
Are these
varied.
like are these classes like are these expected how you're gonna play the rest of the
So
game, or
many.
is it more like Dark Souls where this is kind of how you start the game, like you're starting stuff and then you kind of go from there?
I
I
think
bet it
it's
is.
probably like that. Yeah,
It's like
where this is what you
dex
start with.
class, strength
These are the
class.
stats you start with, and then you can kind of go anywhere. But there's a ton. We've got partisan. This has a flail and a crossbow. Pirate
Whale sounds
I
cultist.
like
fun.
that.
Yeah.
That sounds good. That's my style.
Yeah,
Sounds
Yeah,
like
and all the
dexterity.
art looks so good.
Does it?
Yeah, it looks. Yeah,
When's
I'll
this
send
game
you
coming out?
the October 13th.
Oh, that's right around the corner.
Friday the 13th. I'll show you the
Yep.
link so you can look at the armor. But yeah, the starting classes look really cool. You've got a cultist who's got, of course, like black magic, I guess you could say. He does fire magic and stuff like that. And then you've got a long sword, throwing axes kind of guy.
Oh, man,
There's a bunch,
I love the way this stuff looks. This
right?
dude,
Yeah.
the first dude on this list looks like he's straight out of whatchamacallit, Bloodborne.
He does look like Bloodborne. He's got the typical Bloodborne hat on.
Yeah, it's the hat, really.
It's the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is this? Oh, the Condemned look awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, these are
That bucket?
this is really cool stuff.
Condemn was
And
the
the-
bucket.
that
class,
is
right?
the broken bucket
class.
fist
Broken
weapon. Yeah.
bucket fist.
Broken bucket, yeah.
And rocks.
Dude, I'm all over broken bucket. Bring
Yeah, I
it
was
on.
gonna say like what I saw people were talking about exactly, like it looks good stylistically, it looks good. It runs on Unreal Engine 5, which is helping with all this too.
Yes.
But people are like, huh, how does it play? There were like some of the sound and the stuff, but it's like
Yeah.
what we've seen is not final. So my big question is, I can't look because I'm on no device screens here. Have the IGN had the hands-on yet? Are they going to as part of the IGN first? That should be a bit telling. I would say if they don't have like some impressions, like why not? Like how could it not be in good enough shape to get
Yeah,
that?
I know that
Gamescom's coming up though. I don't know if it's supposed to be there, but
with Wolong, they started doing like their impression stuff, I think pretty close to it coming out.
yeah.
It seems like at the moment we're getting we got like a boss fight that they showed us, and we've got the classes. So it's still pretty
Yeah,
early stuff. People didn't even know classes were a thing in
Yeah.
Lords of the Fallen.
Yeah, I guess maybe to be more clear on that, looking back, because I was part of IGN first and all that, it is usually people are still, they're a little timid about when everybody gets hands-on and collecting that. And usually, IGN first, I guess, is more so tends to be gameplay trailers, developer commentaries over footage. So yeah, maybe we won't see it. But like back in the day, I'd be like, man, like that game is done. The fact that there's been no hands-on preview, but like I think I'm putting on my hat of, because I haven't, even when I was at IGN through 2018, like I didn't have to attend hands-on events. I think I lost track of everything has gotten pushed so close these days to release. Part of that's for marketing, but part of it is, they don't like showing off early stuff, so they might as well wait till the month before. So, but
We
hopefully it
might
shows up
see
as a demo
this
at Gamescom.
We might see it at Gamescom
Like
because
behind closed doors even.
the studio is from Barcelona and
Mhm.
Romania. So
It probably will, and even worst case, it might be behind closed doors that is embargoed for maybe mid September. But that's what I want to hear from multiple outlets. Get a sense of hopefully someone who's played Souls games and then gets their hands on it and has a perspective. But it looks cool.
Does look cool.
yeah, I mean the thing that I'm excited about is the visuals absolutely look good. They look fantastic in the game. Lords of the Fallen visuals look great, and the armor looks great. So at least I'm looking at these classes with like the art, and I'm like, yeah, you might look pretty cool. You might at least look pretty cool.
Yeah, at a minimum, maybe just making the character class and like having a little fun in the beginning. That might be worth it alone. It looks nice.
Speaking of ball busting hard horror games, Fran, you've been playing Pikmin.
Yeah, it's funny. I was gonna say I know that we might talk about Baldur's Gate and stuff, which is probably deeper, but I was like, I wanted to get Pikmin in there. I
Oh, you
talked about
gotta
it
get Pikmin in
a couple episodes, and man, let me tell you what. Now, look at the excitement on my face now. I went from like, yeah, I reviewed Pikmin back in the day. I was like, it looks like Pikmin. It looks fun. I got on the plane because I had the perfect time to use Nintendo Switch. I did not want my plane ride to end.
Whoa.
Legitimately, Pikmin 4, dope as a travel game because it's episodic in a way of like day 1, day 2. It's a perfect travel game. Now, would I feel exactly the same if it wasn't trapped on a plane? No, I'd probably take it in pieces, but like it's good. So they took all the stuff you love about Pikmin and the way that it expands a bit that I noticed was everything's just a little tighter. Of course, there's new moves with your little pet puppy dog type thing. And that dog has like multiple skills. You can train it, but it has subterranean stuff, little like Tears of the Kingdom or really Mario, where you literally go down the pipe. And so it's like, as an example, you start with just your fire Pikmin, but then you go down into this, like the first pipe they send you into. It's kind of gloomy. You're like, what's going on? It's a little more hardcore right down there because it's nice up on top in the garden. And then you realize there's your ice Pikmin are down there. And so it starts to come together. And now I'm like excited to explore all the subterranean stuff. And I'm also not a completionist, but it's got that like, did you get all the stuff down there, all the treasures? Because the more treasure you have,
it.
that adds, I think, points. But then they do another thing, which is like 3D printing. They played into 3D printing. That's part of the new ship technology. So what you're doing, you're melting down all this stuff. And if, for example, if there's half a bridge missing, you need to be able to like have your 3D printer running and get your Pikmin running as part of it. So it honestly, what I said before is like it's a cute RTS. I've always liked Pikmin. And I think it'll be good. And now that I've played a good couple hours, I'm like, it's solid. It's a very solid Pikmin. And considering we only get them every 10 years, I always say, like, don't think about playing it. At the very least, get it, own it, purchase it. If it sounds like something for you, and then even if it's in your back catalog, because I would like to see Pikmin more than once every 10 years.
Yes.
I have a copy
Definitely.
down on my counter, still in the wrapper. I
But you
haven't
bought
gotten a
it.
chance to play it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, hopefully you find some time. I will say what I mentioned before. It unfortunately it does take a few hours before you really start to scratch the surface. Honestly, I'm like 3 hours in and I'm just starting to open it up. But that's where you're like, oh man, I only have a few types of Pikmin. Can't wait to get more. And again, for those who haven't played, right, the whole idea of Pikmin it being a real-time strategy type is it's pretty like cutesy Nintendo game, but you've got fire Pikmin, right? Resistance to fire. You got your yellow Pikmin, which you can throw high up, so high things they can go help get or knock down, and ice Pikmin and so on. And there's water Pikmin, and you start to have to pull all this together and have to be very careful not to accidentally drown your Pikmin. Like that's a thing. You send everybody in all of a sudden. It used to be on the GameCube. You use the C stick to swing them around.
Mhm.
Like they would sort of stretch out, and like I don't think that's in there anymore. It might be, but you'd accidentally like send all types of Pikmin into the water, and they're like, and then there's like all of these little tiny little cute ghost Pikmins, like, and they're all dying. You're like, it's horrifying, but cute.
That sounds delightful.
It's cool. Check it out.
I'm gonna. You mentioned Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate 3 it is, right?
Baldur's Gate 3.
What's
I
going
heard
on?
Watts
Man,
played some.
I have not played any.
Oh,
No.
you said you wanted to talk about it. I thought.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
okay.
this is like this is kind of unheard of, especially for a turn-based D&D kind of video game. The developers, when they were talking about their servers and stuff, they were like, expect, to max out at like 100,000. They've got 800,000.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Over
it is like
800,000 live concurrents. That means there's
yes,
over 1 million players for sure, if not 2
yes,
million.
Wow.
yeah, it's crazy.
Did this
Blew
game
up.
get a console launch or is it just PC right now?
It's coming out on PS5 soon.
Okay.
And there
Oh,
is
that's not even-
cross save, so you can start on PC if you wanted to, and then switch to your PS5. Yeah,
Is
Yeah,
it like point and click like the old ones?
it is.
Yeah. Okay, so play it on PC then.
But I don't know what it's like on the console though. I checked a little bit on PC, but I was like, oh, cool. I actually like that old school vibe. Like, there's so many items and things to
Yeah.
play with in this game.
man, it's crazy. As of 40 minutes ago, there was 700,000 people playing,
That's
Yeah,
and
great.
the
so
peak was 814,000
yeah, that's what
concurrent.
I was
playing.
gonna share. Is over the weekend I was writing up. I have a little newsletter that I was doing, and I was like late at night, Midwest time. I saw it had crossed 800,000 over the weekend, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if everybody's off. It was like 400 plus thousand still at like midnight in the Midwest, and so it's people cannot put it down. Apparently, is what I'm catching from that.
Oh man, I gotta get this right away. There's too many games to play. It's summertime, you jerks.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have picked it up, but Armored Core is coming out pretty soon. It's a very long game.
Oh no.
Armored
Baldur's
Core
Gate is.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, Baldur's
Baldur's.
Gate is. So I was like, I don't think it's possible that I'm going to be able to actually finish it. And then will I pick it back up again at some point? Maybe so. But I am also going to be checking out Atlas Fallen this week, which is a new game
Nice.
by
Yeah.
the people who made The Surge.
Oh.
So I was like, I don't think it would be smart for me to play Baldur's Gate for like 2 days or something. But man, I'm kind of regretting it though, because everyone's just talking about how awesome it is, and I'm like, if I jumped in right away, I might have been able to get some playtime.
You know, the
Yeah, it's
1
fun.
and 2 were hugely popular too. I wonder what accounts for this like popularity. Is it just like word of mouth spreading it, or is it just people were just looking forward to another Baldur's Gate? Or
I think a combination of things. I would peg it more in that, like, Baldur's Gate is just like it is a huge franchise, and gaming has been for a really long time, and like we just haven't gotten them that often, and certainly not done like really detailed and had a ton of support, and like they really gave Larian a lot of time. I actually went to like it was like a preview event, like an eyes on. That's the word I'm looking for. Back in like 2019, and I remember
Oh,
thinking at
wow.
the time, like, oh, it's like kind of right around the corner, but they were several years in, I think, if not longer. And then the pandemic hit and all that. But now years later, they went through all the early access and really had the time to get it right. And so anyway, but it being D&D, and like I always have loved the Baldur's Gate games, but I haven't played them forever. So just on that alone, it was an instant purchase. I think that contributes, but probably the style, right? Like, there's not a lot of games that have this, awesome
You know what
D&D,
I think it
fantastical
is?
style. Yeah,
I think
the horniness.
D&D has gotten quite a bit more popular in recent years.
I would
It's
agree.
become a thing that people don't go, "Oh, that's the epitome of nerd. I would never." It's now a thing that's like, you might try it out with your friends that you never thought about doing it. So I'm seeing a bunch of people getting into D&D that were just nowhere near getting into it before. Um,
Yeah, I think it's just a
yeah,
combination of all those
it's a
things,
combination of a lot of things. Yeah.
like a really detailed, unique, story-driven RPG with all these D&D characters, and
Yeah.
then it did get, of course, that instant hype. People, it's not like people started playing and were like, yeah, it's okay. It was like everybody was loving it immediately, and all
Yep.
these things that you can do. I took a peek at the character creation, and it's just as you would expect. It's a
Character
super deep
creator is great. It's
RPG.
so good.
Yeah, like, just to give you perspective, if you haven't played games like this, it's like they give you whatever it was, like the 5 base characters and classes, which you can kind of start with. But even as you scroll through those, you might expect some of their actions and skills to be like similar. Like, everybody's like completely different. And then of course they have all of like the different stats of strength and constitution and whatever. But the point is, like, all of the things you can do. I was looking at some of the gameplay, and yeah, I'm curious to see how it feels on console. Like, it'd be at the bottom, it looks like You know, like one of those like paint sets with like 30 colors of squares. That's what the bottom of this thing looks like, which is awesome. Like all the different things that you can sort of set up and do. And I saw a video of like somebody was trying to break in a castle and decided because they had I don't know if it was dexterity or intelligence or whatever, they were able to stack boxes like super high, and then they had enough jump brain power to be able to make the jump. And like I was like, this is so cool that you also can be doing weird stuff like that.
That's awesome, dude.
It
It
looks
looks
really neat.
phenomenal too. I just
Yeah.
added it to my cart on Steam on my phone, so I'm just watching like the trailer on my phone.
Oh, nice.
Looks
Yeah, this was the
awesome.
one too that it went around, which is why I made the comment. Like they had their live stream event for many hours. They showed off a ton of the story stuff. It's got a ton of story arcs. And yeah, I made that comment because I think it was the last several days, the senior writer made a comment about how horny the game is. And he was still like testing stuff and was still surprised at some of these story arcs that people have not seen yet. And this was the one that, if you remember, and maybe you didn't see it, there was like this druid bear sex optional scene they
Yeah.
showed of like
Oh,
how you want to get it
You can
on
have sex with a bear.
with
sweet.
the druid form, and you
Koala
can choose
bears.
the
Koala bears have
bear
chlamydia,
form.
so you gotta be
You
careful.
can have sex
Yeah, I know.
with everybody.
Everybody?
It's like as long as the whoever is into it and you can make it happen, then it'll happen.
I want to see the YouTube video where somebody literally does try and make that happen. Just like everybody has sex with everybody in the game.
Oh, that will happen. It's a
Yeah.
big part of it for sure. And there is like it's full nudity. You can turn that on and off, but it's
Yep.
no punches pulled on that one.
Hey,
And you can choose penis A, penis B, vulva A,
Oh.
vulva B.
does it
Yeah.
have the penis slider like Conan Exile?
There's no slider.
Mm,
There's no slider.
that's a missed
So wait,
opportunity.
are there only
Presets.
2 sizes? Is that
Not in
what I'm
Conan.
hearing?
You could
Presets,
really kind of go crazy with that thing.
How much
Yeah.
hair's down there?
Okay. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to be gratuitous, but I feel like 3 sizes at least. Give some options.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What a success story.
Yeah, and it's still, that's what's interesting, because it's such a deep game and like it didn't get into people's hands till right when it was finished, really, that they felt everything was ready, that the review and progress stuff is still happening. And there's a few like early Metacritic stuff that's high, but all of the like called big known outlets, like we haven't heard any numbers yet, but I'm guessing it's going to be a 90s plus
Oh,
type
really?
experience. Yeah,
That's great.
I think it's going to be a game of the year contender with the kind of reactions it's getting.
Is there any
Seems
word on
like
how
it,
long
yeah.
it is? Don't
Depends
know.
on how much bear sex you want to have, man.
Well, I mean, if it's an option, I'll take all the bear sex.
Like 100.
Let's see. How long to beat?
100
Main
hours of bear sex.
Oh yeah, what's
Main-
that say, Watts?
Main story 25 hours. Main and extras 34 hours.
No way.
Completion is 72 hours.
Oh, okay.
No way. I'm gonna
There's
say
no way.
50 to 60 if you're playing it right.
I'm gonna say 75
Maybe.
to 100.
But for people like us, I'd say easily like 100 or more,
Yeah.
which is the way to do it. Oh, and then like we didn't mention it, but the whole deal, right? It's like just like D&D, you get your squad together, play multiplayer all at the same time,
You
and
can
like,
play multiplayer, yeah.
yeah, they have all these crazy options, I think, to see each other's, gear and trade. And like I saw on Twitch, even they had an extension where you could actually inspect all the people's gear. It's totally dope.
Man, that's
It's got to be
awesome.
over 100 hours.
Yeah.
In a
It's gotta be.
related news,
I don't trust
for the
those
charity
stats.
stream this year, DCP has to do a Dungeons and Destiny stream where we're gonna play
Yes.
like a version of Dungeons and Dragons, but like Destiny themed.
This
Mhm.
Looking
is
forward
a
to that.
version of Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, they actually wait. How do they have a Destiny theme?
I think it's fan made. You know,
Oh,
Yeah,
you
they
can make
put
it in the game.
together the whole thing.
yeah.
You make your own characters in Baldur's Gate.
There's
both.
multiplayer.
Do both.
There's also a mod that can make it up to 6 players as well. And Twitch chat can choose dialogue options if you want to go
That's
full
what
on.
it was too.
Oh God.
Yep.
Totally
That's
dope.
genius, man. Whenever developers get Twitch chat involved in like messing with a streamer, it's always a good time. Like it's always
Yep.
fun. I love when they do that.
Me too.
What else we got this week? Anything else?
What else?
I mean, there's like news and stuff. We talked a lot of like games
Oh.
out. I was trying to remember if there was anything.
PlayStation 5 is getting a price cut. A lot of people think
It
it's
did.
in preparation for a possible PlayStation Slim release this fall.
I would think so. But yeah, it's $50 off. I saw the PlayStation Store, and at least for now, it said until August 19th. So, but it's also on Amazon, and I assume they'll all line up with those dates. But that's the disc version. I don't know if the digital version is any money off, but you get the disc version for $450 US dollars.
Which is the one you should get.
Yeah, probably. That's what I have.
The rumor for the PlayStation Slim or the PlayStation 5 Slim is that you'll be able to buy a disc add-on, like a external disc drive, which is kind of neat.
That would make sense. I mean, most people have digital stuff anyway, so I think it'll, it doesn't make sense to have a PlayStation 5 Slim with a disc version and one without. Like, just get the cost down. And yeah, for people who want it, an add-on would be nice.
Yeah, I like that idea too, because like the first thing that breaks on consoles these days is the disc drive often.
Yeah.
So to be able to just replace it with another disc drive is actually kind of neat.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that with my original PlayStation.
Buy two, and if you're an archivist like our man Briar over here, then you'll have that backup for when it breaks 13 years from now. Like, I bought two. They don't make them anymore.
You'd probably be
I'm curious.
eBay.
I'm curious to see if the Pro could still be out there somewhere. There have been some rumors about a PlayStation 5 Pro, and time-wise, it similarly had happened. Like we had the Slim, and it wasn't long after. I thought it was like months after that. It was like, oh, they also did the Pro. So yeah, like I would love to see one. Did we talk about that on this show?
I think so.
I talked about it with somebody in detail, but I would love to see a PlayStation 5 Pro. I don't care about a Slim. Be all over a Pro, and yeah, I think we did because I was like, it'd be awesome if something like Final Fantasy it all ran at 60 and that helped it, and Bloodborne at 60. But I'm sure we did talk about it.
Usually, once I start seeing price cuts, I start thinking about buying a second console so I can have one in my office where I am now, and then one in my living room.
Fancy.
Oh, it's just convenient.
Yeah.
But I usually wait till price cuts, and like hopefully a Slim version.
Yeah.
At least, if not a Pro version. Pro version, that makes it easier to justify the cost, I think.
Yep.
I don't know, in my head, my dumb head.
Yeah. Also, big news worth mentioning is it's been trickling as rumors for the long time, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 they've teased officially, is the worst leaked thing so far. But it's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is the sequel. It's November 10th, but they've only teased it, and we know that there's supposed to be an event next week. There was still some leaks on that, I believe, saying August 17th. That's the in-game event. But at least we know for sure it's got like Modern Warfare 3 and I think Captain Price out there somewhere. I think that was a leak actually. So, we'll see. But
I played a lot of Modern Warfare 3, but I don't remember the story on that at all. Like I don't remember.
Well,
being
I can't tell
memorable
anymore if this is like a version of Modern Warfare 3 or if it's taking the last Modern Warfare 2 and doing something different as like a branch from Modern Warfare 2. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not following Call of Duty anymore, really. So it's like
I don't know at all anything about this, so I apologize if anybody's groaning out there. But yeah, it probably has to do with the first Modern Warfare 3. But I'm so confused as someone who's had trouble keeping up.
Yeah.
But the stories are always actually really awesome, and that they do such a good job with the quality of the campaign. So
yeah,
I am looking forward to that, even though it seems like it's been maybe a tight timeline on this one. There were some rumors about them shuffling around which studio was doing this year's version, but anyway, it's around the corner in terms of the announcement, and again, November 10th.
I wonder if it's going to be like haven't they been doing the kind of like limited like scope Call of Duties lately? Like not necessarily like bringing like a full campaign, full like.
That's what the rumor was. I think you're thinking, but every year has been.
It has been a full.
I don't think we've missed. We haven't missed because that's what they've had 3 studios, right? Like there was Sledgehammer, Treyarch, Infinity Ward. They all hopscotch every year. Somebody's coming out with the next one, and
what a grind that must be.
Yeah, but each one of them had, I believe, it was around 3 years and plus of sharing tech and teams, and but yeah, so. Here we are back with, I believe, Sledgehammer is supposed to be the studio behind this one, but we'll see. I might be mixing that up, but I think that's it.
You know what we didn't mention during the
Titanfall
whole
3?
EVO thing? Well,
no, I wish.
I wish too.
No, we didn't mention.
No, yeah, the community is growing. Maybe it'll happen soon. Or another developer will be like, "Hey, I think the kids really want an arena shooter where they're running around like crazy people." and shooting people, and someone will make it. But Project L from
yeah.
Riot was you were able to play it at EVO. They had a whole stream showing a bunch of pro players and devs playing it. They announced a new character, Yasuo, and yeah, people seem to be having a good time.
I think
It
it looks
seems
like it's
very
going to be a
complicated.
juggernaut when it comes out. Yeah, it does seem complicated. It looks like it's going to be like not your noob friendly fighter, right?
No, it looks like it's made for people already in the fighting game community, and they know it seems like it's got systems from every fighting game
Yeah,
in it. Kind of crazy.
yeah. I think it'll draw a new player. It doesn't need to be like the everyman's fighter to draw people
Right.
in, because I think it like a name like its brand alone will tend
Yeah.
to do that, and its characters and its tie-in with what's that cartoon?
Arcane.
Yeah, Arcane.
Yep.
And then so like I think that part of it is covered. I don't think it needs like press, right? Like it's gonna get that.
No, it doesn't.
But what it needs to be is really a good game, so it like can hold on to people once it's got them. So
Yeah.
it seems to be positive. People are talking about it pretty positively. Still early though. It's still years away, they're saying.
Yeah, still very early.
Looks good though. I dig
Looks
on
great.
the art style.
Visuals are very cool. I love what they went with.
It's kind of crazy what's going on with fighting games right now. We got a Street Fighter 6 this year. We got Tekken 8 this year. We got Mortal Kombat 1 this year.
Yeah.
There's like several games like being like updated to be more modern, like Killer Instinct style. I think they did that. They're doing that with Samurai Showdown that was released in like 2015. They're updating it to have modern rollback netcode. Like there's just so like it feels like there's just like this overabundance of like fighting games just out of nowhere, like craziness. It's awesome, but it's like, wow, this is maybe spread these out a little, guys. Like we're not gonna be playing all of these.
Yeah, it's fighting games are crazy.
Yeah, and they're like a genre that you just to fully enjoy, you've got to sink a lot of time into it.
Oh,
Unless it's
definitely.
Mortal Kombat, you just play the story like me.
Well,
is that it?
Yeah.
Ready to wrap this one up?
Let's wrap it up.
All right, guys. Thank you all for watching or listening, depending on what you're doing. If you're driving, keep your eyes on the road. Stop looking at your phone. That's dangerous.
Yes.
You're gonna hurt somebody or yourself.
That's right.
Don't do that. Keep your eyes on
Don't
the
do
road, homie. Hands are 10 and 2. Use the blinker.
That's what I'm about to go do.
Please do use the blinker. Jesus Christ.
What the heck? Why don't anybody use blinkers anymore? Bye.
Yield on roundabouts.